Hello, everybody. Welcome back to LettermenRow.com. I am Jeremy Birmingham, and this is Birminology. We are talking to Ohio State recruiting targets from around the country, and today we're heading to Snellville, Georgia, to talk to Brookwood High School quarterback Dylan Lonergan, a class of 2023 prospect who was one of just a trio of quarterbacks who took in Ohio State's game against Oregon on Saturday. Wanted to get a chance to catch up with Dylan about that and how baseball plays into his high school football recruiting. Let's get to it. Welcome in Dylan Lonergan to the show. Dylan, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. First and foremost, can I make sure that I'm pronouncing your last name correctly? Is that the correct pronunciation, or is it something I'm missing?
No, it's correct.
All right. Woo. Always like to get the first one out of the way. Dylan, obviously, we'll start with the most recent thing, the Ohio State visit on Saturday, the first time that you've been at Ohio State for a game. Obviously the game did not go the way the Buckeyes anticipated. I don't think it was a day where you were expecting to get a whole lot of time talking to the coaches, but what was the day like for you? What was that vibe like in Ohio Stadium for you?
I just enjoyed it. Taking the atmosphere of all the fans, everything. I really enjoyed the experience being up there.
As a recruit, this is one thing people always ask. Like, if you're a recruit and you're visiting a game and the team you're visiting loses, does it ruin the experience?
I mean, no, I don't think so, because they still played well. Oregon just played a great game. They had a really good game plan dialed up, but it was just a good game to watch.
As a quarterback, when you're watching C.J. Stroud in his second start ever in his career throw for 484 yards, throw the ball 50 times, are you excited about that? Or are you like, wow, why are they throwing this much?
No, definitely exciting as a quarterback, because you always want to put up numbers like that.
For you, you visited Ohio State in the summer. You got offered during a camp visit. But at that time, Quinn Ewers was in the class of 2022, and there was not a lot of pressure being applied from Ohio State on any 23 quarterback. How did things change for you in Ohio State after Quinn reclassified, now knowing that they're very likely not going to take the quarterback in the class of 2022? And how does that change things for you?
That definitely just changes the perspective, just from being able to play earlier if they want to make him the guy. But, yeah, I feel like if he didn't do what he did, Ohio State probably wouldn't be as much in the picture for me, for sure.
Now, how high would you put them in that picture? I know you've got like a top 10 schools, but I mean, are you starting to narrow that down as you turn the focus to this season and the opportunity to make these game day visits?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say they're up there on the list, probably top 5, top 8, around there.
Is the relationship with Corey Dennis, with Ryan Day, I assume that it's gotten better since September 1st, but what is that dialogue like with them? And, what have they seen out of you on your early film here this season with Brookwood that has got them excited about you, that they wanted you to be the first quarterback to come visit during the season?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've had a few conversations with Coach Dennis. Emmett Good, he talks about how excited he is, especially to see me on Saturday. But he says just watching my films, thinks I'd be a great fit for the offense up at Ohio State. And then Coach Day, same thing. We've just texted a little bit, but kind of same feedback from him.
As a quarterback who is watching that offense with the receiving core they have, can you even try to picture what your life would be? I mean, even just saying those receivers, like the quarterback in you has to smile, right? I mean, what is that like to know that that's the type of player around you all the time?
Oh, yeah. Even just seeing them in warm-ups, just the athletic ability that they all have, it's insanely different from what I have right now. But, yeah, I couldn't even imagine playing with all the –
You've got a lot of big offers, but I don't know, maybe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dylan, but it seems like there's been a handful of schools that haven't moved on you as aggressively as maybe they might, considering your recruiting ranking. You're the number 6 ranked quarterback in the country. You're 6'2", 210 pounds. You've got all the measurables. You throw the ball very well because of baseball. Do you feel like baseball has slowed your football recruitment?
I feel like for some schools, yeah, because I make baseball just as much as a priority for me as football. And I feel like some coaches dislike that.
And you've told me that you intend to play both sports in college. What is the relationship with Ohio State been like about that? The conversation, is Ryan Day and Corey Dennis saying, hey, we understand that this is this important for you?
Yeah, so far it seems like they've been cool with that. And I met one of the baseball coaches or somebody on staff at the game. So it was just good to have a little bit of dialogue with them.
I don't know a whole lot about college baseball. I know Ohio State is not generally regarded as one of the country's best programs, but they're not certainly one of the worst. Since Ohio State, the resources are second to none. But how much as you research college football programs, how much of a side job is it to figure out what's going on in the baseball program?
Yeah, it's definitely still just important. I mean, Ohio State, last year they had 3 of their starters drafted, which is crazy. And that's obviously a position I'll be playing. So that's definitely something to think about for sure.
Is there a part of you, you're a top 10 ranked baseball prospect in the state of Georgia, you're a top 10 ranked quarterback nationally. Do you have any sort of internal struggles like, hey, I should put more into this or more into that? I mean, is this something that you're just going to ride out until you're 22, 23 years old and figure out which one wants to pay you the most?
Yeah, that's pretty much the plan right now because I can't pick one myself. So just going to see where it takes me.
No, for your recruitment, obviously the game day visit to Ohio State's a big step. What else is next? Where do you want to visit? What are the best relationships you have around the country right now?
Well, I just want to get to most of the schools on my top 12. I'd say probably the best relationship I have right now is with South Carolina. Try to get to them as soon as possible. But them, Bama, Ole Miss, I want to visit for the first time and then get down to UGA.
South Carolina offered you before you were a full-time starter at Brookwood, I believe. And now they have a new coaching staff. As a recruit now, you still have 2 years of high school left. Is it hard to develop like good relationships knowing that coaching staffs change this frequently? And, the coaching staff that offered you at South Carolina may not even be there now and now at other schools, you might see more changes. How does that play into things?
It does a little bit, but I mean, I just try to build the best relationship I can with the coaches that are there just in hope that they'll be there by the time I graduate. You can't really, I guess, you can't think about the chance of them leaving too much for sure.
You, on your visit to Ohio State in the summer, you got to work hand in hand with Ryan Day, with Corey Dennis. Obviously didn't talk to him a whole lot on Saturday because of the big game and then the way things went at the end. But what was your impression of Ryan Day in person when you got a chance to work with him? Because obviously you see both sides. You see yesterday the game day experience, and now you've had the chance to work with him. What was your biggest takeaway from that opportunity?
It was just great learning from him. He was giving me advice on how I was throwing the ball on a certain drill, and it's something that I've never heard before. So it's definitely good to get different feedback from a different person, just learn a little bit more.
I'm not going to go too far inside baseball, but have you been able to apply what he recommended, and has it helped you?
Yeah, definitely this season so far. I've already seen multiple plays on film where I've already taken that into account and used it.
Now, as a high school quarterback, do you feel like there's too much pressure on the position? I guess I'm curious from an outside looking in. So here you go. You have Ohio State again Saturday, 484 yards for C.J. Stroud. And you have fans wondering, like, should they be playing someone else? Is that insane to you when you're watching the game, or am I just a cynic?
No, yeah, definitely. Me too, for sure. I feel the same way.
I mean, because at that point you ask, what does a quarterback have to do, right? Like to get people to be supportive?
Yeah, because when you throw 484 yards, you can't do much else.
For you, Dylan, I mean, how do you see this whole recruiting process unwinding? I don't know if you feel like you want to get it over with soon. I don't know if you're a kid that feels like you want to wait longer. How do you see this playing out?
I've enjoyed it so far, but like committing wise, I don't think that's going to happen for another year at least. I'm just going to keep building relationships and keep narrowing down my list until then.
Were you surprised at all by anything at Ohio State? I know that the visit, it's going to be a big game. Ohio State's one of the biggest programs in the country. But what was the one or two things on this trip that kind of caught your eye that you weren't expecting?
I'd say just the fan base. I knew it was a huge stadium, great fan base, but it's just whole different things being there in person. Just taking it all in. It was really cool.
It was extremely loud in there in the fourth quarter. I've been on the field there for every game since 2012, and I don't know that I've heard many louder moments than that. So, how much does that matter? I mean, you're a kid that, again, you're going to go to South Carolina, you're going to go to Georgia, you're going to go to Ohio State. What is the most important thing as you start to break down this process? What matters the most to Dylan Lonergan?
I definitely want a good relationship with the coaching staff, but also just their ability to prepare you for the next level and just develop me as a quarterback for sure.
Did you get an opportunity to get to know any of the other guys that were there? There was a handful of kids from Georgia. Caleb Downs was there. Offensive lineman Zachariah Owens was there. Who did you hang out with and vibe with?
I've known Caleb since I was about 6 years old, so I was talking with him a lot. I met Ty Lockwood, committed there, talked with him a little bit, and then just William Watson too, a little bit too.
Pop Watson, the other quarterback that was there, the 23, does not have an offer from Massachusetts. Was he at camp the day you were there?
He was.
Sure he was, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever look at this, or has it struck you yet, Dylan, how kind of crazy this recruiting process is and the opportunities it's putting in front of you?
Yeah, 100%, especially when September 1st hit. That was just a crazy day for me.
How many phone calls and texts did you get that day?
I mean, I woke up at 6 a.m. and already had about 40 messages on my phone. And that was just insane to wake up to.
Now, this is, I think, interesting for fans. Like, is it a, hey, how you doing? Is it a graphic? Is it a Dylan, you're our guy? What is the message that these coaches are saying? And does it matter if it's like a personalized message or not? Because I would think it does.
Yeah, it definitely does, because you can tell when they're just sending out a generic message that they send to everybody, or coach actually put some thought into it. But it was pretty much all over the place. I guess it just depends on how the school feels about me or how much they want me.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I mean, what point after September 1st did you hear from Ohio State? Because they were on the road traveling that day to Minnesota, so I'm going to give them a little bit of leeway. But what was the time frame for when they got in touch with you?
Yeah, I heard from Coach Dennis the day after. He gave me a text, and then I got on the phone with him a little bit later, and just obviously I understood that they were on the road, so that's just fine. Doesn't really affect anything there.
Right, and obviously then the invitation comes to make sure that they want you at the first home game. Does
sure.
that feel good? I mean, does it matter to you in the big picture that they were like, hey, this is the game we want you at?
Yeah, definitely. Just because it was the first one, and they just wanted to make sure I got on campus as soon as possible, and it definitely shows some interest on their part.
For your parents making that trip with you, is it frustrating to not get a chance to talk to the coaches? I mean, or do they understand the circumstance?
I think a little bit of both. I mean, they love to talk to the coaches, but can't really do anything about it. So
the relationship gets built this way, right? Zoom, FaceTime, in-person calls. At least they can call you and text you now on their own. So
yeah, for sure, makes it a whole lot easier.
What's next? Who's the next visit for you? Do you have a plan for it? I know you said a couple of the schools you want to get to, but do you have anything that's concrete?
Not exactly yet. I think South Carolina might be the 18th, and that might be my next one. But other than that, I'm not sure yet.
Well, I know you got a lot of stuff ahead of you, a lot of baseball teams to research. Who's your favorite? Are you a Braves guy? Are you a big time like Atlanta sports team guy?
No, I'm not. Yankees guy, actually.
Yankees guy. How does that happen?
My mom's from New York.
All right. Well, my dad was a Yankees fan. I'm begrudgingly a Cincinnati Reds fan, so I don't talk much about baseball. So anyway, I'll let you get out of here, man. I appreciate it. I know you've had a long day of travel. That's Dylan Lonergan, Ohio State 2023 quarterback offer from Brookwood High School in Snellville, Georgia. I'm Jeremy Birmingham. This has been Birminology on Lettermen Row. Thanks for watching.